Alright guys, Pinkie-Pepper here, down at the stream, and today I'm going to talk to you guys about the common snapping turtle. So, I've been growing up with these guys my whole life, playing with them, catching them, and just wanted to kind of share some more with you about them. The scientific name is Chelydra serpentina, and serpentina kind of based upon the fact that they're kind of snake-like when you look at their necks. Let's see how long he can stick his out right now. Sometimes if you flip them on their back, they'll try to right themselves by sticking their neck out. Oh, there we go. So he's got quite a neck on him. Look at that, how far back that's going. And in the United States, North America, they go from pretty much Florida into Louisiana to the Rockies, north into Canada, all the way up to like Nova Scotia. Pretty much the eastern 2/3 of the United States is where you can find these. They're one of two types of snapping turtles we have in the United States, the other one being the alligator snapping turtle, which is not as common, hence this one being the common snapping turtle. And these don't get as large as the alligator snapping turtle, but they can be found in more areas. I've caught these probably 50 pounds or more. One pretty big one I had the other year weighed 42, then I caught one bigger than that. They can probably live for up to 100 years or more, and when they're young, they're going to have a lot more ridges on their shell. When they get older, most of these kind of flatten out. They got a couple spikes here and then around the edge. The claws on these, on bigger ones, I mean, they're almost like bear claws. And you'll notice as well, I'm holding them right underneath the shell. A lot of times people will pick them up by the tail. Well, if you get a heavy turtle and you pick them up by the tail, all their reproductive equipment is right back here. So if you pick them up by the tail, it can actually put such a strain and so much stress on that area that you can sterilize them. In Wisconsin, they had open seasons on these. I've had my vehicle searched for a lot of things in my life, but turtles is on the list. In Wisconsin, you need to have either a small game license or a fishing license, and snapping turtles must be at least 12 inches long on the shell, but no more than 16 inches. And the open season is from July 15th to November 30th. And the reason they do that is that they want to make sure that the population reproduces itself. And if you have a large turtle laying, a whole pile of eggs versus a smaller turtle laying the fewer, it's much better for the species. The reason I bring that up is that most people don't even realize that there are open seasons and stuff like that on some of these creatures. You can't have a snapping turtle in your possession from pretty much through December through June up in Wisconsin, or it's or you can face some fines and stuff from the DNR. So always be aware of whatever the local laws are in your area. Now, snapping turtles, the interesting thing when they breed is the female can actually store sperm for multiple years and kind of use it as she needs it. They'll lay their eggs, and the eggs are kind of feasted upon sometimes by raccoons, foxes, minks, stuff like that. And then when the hatchlings come out, I mean, they're a 50-cent piece or so in size. And great blue herons eat a lot of them. Bullfrogs will actually eat them. Some larger fish and plenty of other stuff as well. So they've got a rough life, a hard time, but in their ecosystem, they're kind of the top of the food chain. Like I said, I kind of grew up catching these as a kid. We actually used to go walk around in the swamp where we would find them. The swamp would be about, a foot or so of mud and then a couple inches of water on top of it. And we'd just walk around till we stepped on something hard. And then we'd try to look for this point on the shell to figure out where the tail is. I'd actually reached off the front of the shell before and grabbed some necks. That was not very fun. And then actually about 2 years ago, I found out that if you flip them over like this, and they go to right themselves, when they stick their neck out, you can actually grab them by the throat and then kind of control it more to prevent getting bitten. So he's going to go in a minute, I think. There he goes, and then I can grab him by the throat. Now he can't bite me. I'm controlling him. I can stick my face here. He can't get me. Again, they're pretty tough looking turtles. They've got actually beautiful eyes and a really sharp beak there. Unlike some other turtles, they can't really pull themselves into their shell. You'll notice how small the bottom of this is. There's nowhere to go. I just featured a box turtle in one of my Close to the Creatures with Papa posts, and those guys can close themselves up completely in the shell. These guys can't. You can notice the tail as well. Looks kind of like an alligator tail or something more like that. And it's interesting down here in Arkansas with all the armadillos. These guys actually look quite a bit like an armadillo if you were to flip them over, check out the legs, check out the tail, check out other stuff. It's pretty cool. So one of my favorite turtles. Turtles are one of my favorite animals, and that's just a little bit more about the snapping turtle. Most of the time you leave them alone, they'll leave you alone. They usually want to get away from you. Once you confront them though, they will defend themselves. They're kind of the top of the food chain in their ecosystem, so they're not used to a whole lot messing with them once they get big enough, and they will fight kind of tooth and nail against anyone who tries to pose a threat. So I try to interact more peaceably with them. They're still pretty defensive. You can see him with his mouth open. Keep an eye on me. But absolutely beautiful turtle. One of my personal favorites, and hope you guys enjoyed him. Papa out.